Taoiseach Deputy Kate O'Connell.
Minister, I'd like to raise with you the incredibly challenging situation regarding school places for children with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, in Dublin 2, 4 and 8, but especially in Dublin 6 and Dublin 6W. In an 80 square kilometre area, there are over 80 primary schools, but only 3 have a unit. No unit in South Dublin has a single place available for at least the next 3 years. Ultimately, in South Dublin, there is no service. Minister, we need to support principals in what is a really challenging role, and they continue to do a great job. We need to be facilitated in giving these assets to schools. Minister, can you advise me on what actions the Department is taking in this regard?
Thank you, Deputy Colonel. Minister McHugh.
Okay, I just want to assure the Deputy, and I know it's been raised by a number of deputies across the House in relation to South Dublin. We are conscious that there is a demand for places. The NCSE have been in touch with individual schools, a lot of schools. I have decided to invoke the legislation for a second time. I invoked the legislation in Dublin 15 at the beginning of this year in April. That one-directional invoking of legislation is not good enough in itself. It has to be on the basis of persuasion, on the basis of partnership. And what I would implore and ask of the schools would be to stay in touch with the NCSE, stay in touch with my officials, and if there are fears or concerns, and I know there are concerns around support systems for schools, if those concerns can be alleviated in any way, because at the end of the day, the demand is coming from the mother and father whose son or daughter does not have a place, and that is the immediate priority. So it is reluctantly I'm invoking the legislation again, which directs schools to add classes to their schools, but it won't work on its own without partnership. And there's a very good example in Dublin 15 where leadership was shown. It was shown by Archbishop James Martin, for example, and we now have the places that we were looking for back in April, but it won't. Invoking legislation is not good enough in itself. It has to be persuasive.